The next thing we get from media, major thing, is information. So entertainment and information. And here is Facebook giving us information about our friends and also by a news feed, all kinds of things. And more and more people are getting their news from the news feed at Facebook, which is, of course, basically unedited, unfiltered. People just put things up there, and it doesn't have to be true, and you don't have to identify yourself. In the past, we relied on traditional media for information, or when we relied on traditional media, there was always a filter. Someone wouldn't put up the content unless they verified it. I think almost 99% of the time. And so now I think it can be said that in addition to getting information, we sometimes get disinformation from our media. Then, of course, there's this weird sort of subset that kind of mixes both. It isn't really entertainment just for entertainment's sake. It's and it's not really information. It's kind of I don't know what, exaggerated information to make the content entertaining, called infotainment. But what I want you to remember here are the two basic kinds of content for media, and this is also borne out in your book, entertainment and information. Now let's take a look at the syllabus. So I'm going to stop and then bring up the syllabus, and we'll go through. Okay, so here's our syllabus. This is posted on Blackboard. Let's just quickly sweep through here. You know, we are in section OL2, 3 credits, making the days of class, due dates, etc., Fridays. So in almost every instance, a due date will be Friday. So I don't want a lot of confusion out there about when are the due dates for things. I expect you to have lectures looked at by 5 o'clock on Friday evening, and I expect things to be submitted by 5 o'clock Friday evening. As I said before, I will have office hours. Our meeting times are online. And there's the description. It's designed to provide you with an understanding of the role of media planning and buying and advertising. We review basic measurement tools and the relationship between marketing and advertising objectives translated into media objectives, strategies, and tactics. You're going to identify target markets, develop media strategies, and evaluate media alternatives and media buying approaches. The prerequisite is AC 111. Here are the outcomes. You should have a working knowledge of the fundamentals of media planning. You should understand the basic media terminology and understanding how important media are to the success of an ad campaign. I expect you to keep up with the weekly schedule as laid out in the syllabus. You have a responsibility as a participant and a group member to keep up, because if you don't keep up and we start doing team projects, you're going to let your team down because you're not going to have the knowledge base that they have. So please do. I know it's an online class. It's asynchronous. Not everyone does everything at the same time, but really, please try to do it within the week required. Written work, name of the assignment, year, name, course title and number, instructor's name and date. Whenever you send me any email, I want the class number and section in the heading of the email. I'm teaching 4 courses this year. It's going to be a little hard to keep track of everyone. Frankly, I'll do my best, but I'll be able to do a lot better if I don't have to look up what class you're in. So please put your course number and section number in the subject line of each email. Deadlines are firm. Assignments that are 1 class session late will be dropped to full grade. Assignments more than 2 class sessions will not be accepted and will receive an automatic F grade. Please understand that. You're also required to read the assigned material and look at the lectures. You're required to read the textbook by the Fridays. As I told you, those are the due dates. There are also other websites that will be helpful. You'll see that I read the New York Times and the Washington Post every morning online, and I will frequently clip articles and send them to you. I know with the Times you have access to 5 free articles every week, so you should be every month, so you should be able to open the articles. They're also, if you check with the library, you'll see that every student at FIT is entitled to a free subscription to the online version of the New York Times. So you should be able to follow up on your own and get these subscriptions and be able to read the articles. The team project is to develop a media plan for product or service TBD. This will happen in the second half of the class, as I've said a few times. Now, I want to be clear about how I grade team projects. Everyone on the team, after I review the presentation, everyone on the team will receive the same grade. But here's a warning to those who are expecting not to contribute to their teams. Each team member will rate his or her fellow teammates as to their contribution to the project. And I will adjust each person's grade based on your contribution rating by your teammates. So you could end up with a really bad grade, and it's happened, believe me. If you don't kick in, if you're not part of the team, if you think you can just coast by and let other people do the work, you're not going to like the grade you get. There'll be 2 exams, one exam more or less after we've covered all the different media types, and then there will be a final at the end of the class. In addition to that, there's an assignment, a written assignment, which you'll be handing in every week at the beginning of the first 7 or 8 weeks of the class. For every single media type we discuss in my lecture, etc., you're going to do what's called a My Media Journey, an MMJ. You're going to find an example of an ad running in that particular media that we're talking about. You're going to get a recording of it or take a picture of it, and you're going to, I'm not going to describe the whole darn project right now, but you're basically going to say, how you happen to see or hear or be exposed to this medium, what the content was you were listening to, where were you, what were you doing, why did this ad get your attention, and then you're going to analyze the ad. And you'll do that for every single media type as an individual, okay? So when we look at the basic assignments in this course, you're going to have lectures every week. You're going to have a quiz to do at the end of the lecture to make sure you listen to the lecture and paid attention. Those are going to be due on Fridays. You're going to have a major project that'll start in the second half of the term with a team. You're going to write a team media plan, everyone for the same thing. I've used Broadway plays the last 2 times. We'll see what I use this time. And you're going to have 2 exams, a midterm and a final. And you're going to do this My Media Journey where you write about your personal experience with each one of the media types we talk about, out-of-home, radio, etc. There may be a few class discussions also, but I know that's already what we've got here on the plate is a lot, so I'm going to be careful not to overload you. Okay, everything will be on Blackboard. Here's how I'm grading. All of My Media Journey assignments, you'll be doing them for every media type. I think there's 7. Will be 15% of your grade. Quizzes and discussions. Quizzes at the end of the lectures and any discussions I assign will be 25% of your grade. Midterm will be 15%, the final will be 15%, and the team project, the media plan, will be another 30% for 100%. And there you got the meanings, the meaning of the grades and the numbers, etc. Every single project will be on Blackboard, and the grades will be there on Blackboard. and you'll be able to look at correct answers for the most part on Blackboard. So a lot of things will be done on Blackboard. I will end up weighting all your grades, WEIGHTING, at the end of the term once we've got everything done, and that's how I'll get your final grade. In other words, I'll take, if you get a 90 on the final exam, and 100%, let's optimistically say, on everything else, if the final is worth 15% of your grade, that 90 will be 15% of the total grade, and it'll bring down the average of the other grades. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to weight each exam, each major project will have a weighting that'll affect your final grade number. But you won't know that till the end of the course. That's when I'll do it. Class schedule. Okay, I hope you've done the icebreaker. I'm looking forward to looking at that. It's due in our first week. Please jump in there. You're going to put in an initial comment, and then you're going to comment. I think it's on 4 or 5 of your classmates' comments. You can get to know each other. Please read all of it. The lecture I'm taping now is our first lecture. And there we go with that. And there we go. I'm just going to stop now. And I see a little problem with the syllabus. Let me do a little tinkering here, everyone. I'll be right back with you.